Hey everyone, it's Jenny from the WoW Creative team. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I've got a fun technique that uses your embossing powders to create shaker pieces for a shaker card. I'm creating the card that you see here, and I'm super excited to be using some new products. Some of you may have caught a sneak at Creative World and Creativation. This is a pairing between WoW Embossing and Seth Apter, which is super exciting. I've been a huge fan of Seth's for a long time, so to get my hands on these about a month ago, it's been killing me not to be able to show you them. This set's called Cosmic. It's a trio with a kind of space theme, so that was Sea of Tranquility, and then I'm showing you Space Dust and Blue Moon, and they are super gorgeous. When you heat them up, you'll see in a minute, they're slightly matte. They've got huge chunks of, I think it's clear embossing powder in them, mixed in with the coloured embossing powder, and then some flecks of, I think it's gold in the Sea of Tranquility, flecks of copper in one of the blue powders, silvery gold in one of the others, and just absolutely gorgeous. You need these in your stash. They'll be available later in the store. I'm just giving you a sneak peek preview of them now because I just couldn't wait any longer. So first off, I'm going to take lots of strips of white cardstock. They're trimmed down to this size because they're easier to fit through my small die cutting machine. And I searched through my stash of dies to find some that were small shapes, those that would be perfect for shaker pieces. And I'm going to be die cutting them several times from these strips that I'm making here. So I'm doing one strip per powder, and I've coated all over one side with my embossing ink pad just by running it over the top, and I'm using a scrap piece of paper here, just printer paper, to protect my work surface, and then heating it up. And look at that, that is one layer, and it's very opaque. It almost looks like space background, like a cosmic background, just in its own right. This is on white cardstock, and a little bit later I'll show you it on black cardstock, and it does not rub off at all. Those big chunks of, I think they're big chunks of clear embossing powder, are really holding together all that powder. And then because we're doing shaker pieces and they shake around and they might flip round, I didn't want them to flip round and show kind of white cardstock, so I'm going to repeat that on the other side to get a double-sided strip here, which means all our shaker pieces will be completely covered in embossing powder. And here's a couple of close-ups at the other colours. Those blues do look similar, but when you look at them close up, you'll see their subtle differences. So I'm going to place my panel down onto my cutting plate. This is the mini blossom from Old to New. Just thought it'd be easier to show you, and it's actually easier to just keep repeating the die cutting. I did 4 of each shape, each die from each of the strips of cardstock. I didn't know how many pieces I'd need, so I did want to do more than I thought I would need just in case. And then I'm going to proceed to die cut them all out. Here's a quick close-up of one of them. This is a little diamond. I think it was a free die from Waffle Flower, and this is a heart from a very old but essential die by Simon Says Stamp. If they're still available, I'll link them down in the description box below. And then when I'm done with all my die cutting, this is the little pile of shaker bits that I'm left with. Now, to create the background panel for my card, I've got a strip panel, A2 size panel of textured navy cardstock, and I'm splattering it liberally with Antique Gold spray by Altenew. And then I did try some Mr. Huey's White Mist, but it just kind of faded away, so I've squirted some acrylic paint from Paper Artsy into a spatter box, added some water, and then I'm splattering it with my splatter brush. This is a Tim Holtz brush, and trying to avoid getting it all over my desk. And then I like to use my WoW heat gun on setting 1 to dry splattered patterns like this, or ink blending or things like that, that mixed media that you don't want to use too hot a temperature on. That setting 1 on the gun is perfect for. And then to add a little bit of drama and give it more of a space feel, I've come in with some Distress ink in black soot and ink blended it in towards the centre to give a sort of vignette on that panel. The black soot did cover up some of my stars, so I came back in with some more acrylic white paint, liberally splattered it, made a big mess, but it's okay. It looks a bit like nebulas or galaxies, I think. And as you layer up that paint, some of them go kind of into the background and add perspective, which I thought was quite cool. And then I mixed a little bit of the acrylic paint with the gold, and that gave a slightly faded yellow-white, and then came back in with the concentrated gold again to finish. And then heated it with my heat tool. Now this is the set I'm going to use to create my shaker. It was by My Favourite Things. It was the Heart Shaker set, and it had a matching plastic pouch. Again, if it is still available, I will link it in the supplies below. You don't have to use this. You could make a shaker the good old-fashioned way by die cutting a circle, adding foam tape at the back, and a acrylic panel. But I wanted to do something quick, and I wanted to show this. I wanted a heart because I want these colours to represent a globe, like the earth, the sea and the land in space. This is for my husband for Valentine's Day, and I thought that would go really well with a heart window. Now I've added the plastic window in, adhered it with some liquid adhesive, and then I'm sprinkling in my shaker pieces. I don't want to add too many, otherwise they're not going to shake. And for an extra bit of sparkle, I'm using these eco sparkles. They're now called earth sparkles, which are biodegradable, so they are good for the earth. And I thought that was a bit of fun given the look of my card. I sprinkled some in. That colour was Marlin. And then an extra bit of glue runner and some adhesive, and I popped an A2 size panel of black cardstock over the back before flipping it over and just pushing down carefully to make sure it was completely sealed, because we don't want glitter flying everywhere. Give it a shake, and there's my shaker card. Now that My Favourite Things did come with a border that goes around the outside of the heart, so you don't have to do this, but I figured seeing as it came in the die set I would use it. And I just wanted to show you what one of these embossing powders looks like on black cardstock. You can see it's completely opaque. This is the Sea of Tranquility again, which is absolutely stunning. And then I've die cut that border die from that, and I'm going to place it around the outside of my shaker pouch with some liquid adhesive and just make sure that's stuck down. And then the perfect sentiment for this card, I just had to use it, is from the Round and Around set by Marion, our wonderful Marion from Wow Embossing. And I'm using this sentiment that's a nice strip sentiment, love makes the world go round. I've created a strip of black cardstock, and then I'm going to heat emboss it in Wow Metallic Rich Pale Gold, which pairs perfectly with that antique gold spray that I've splattered all over the background. And then I'm just going to pop it up on a Derice foam strip over the top, and that finishes my card. And now I have to hope my husband does not watch this video before Valentine's Day. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out the other videos on the channel, along with lots of new design team members. Have an awesome day. Bye.